Matchweek 36 in the books. We finally have breakthrough. Points were dropped by Liverpool or City, and in this case, it was Manchester City. Psych, it was Liverpool, who couldn't beat Tottenham at home, finishes 1-1. As far as Man City go, they keep trucking on with a 5-0 thrashing of Newcastle. Race for the top four takes some twists, some turns, some blown leads, some blowouts. At the bottom of the table, it's still a tight race between Burnley, Leeds, and Everton. We'll cover that and everything in between in this episode of the Premiership Perusal podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs, and the ball in behind Damian Varney! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Varney!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
No, but you know what? There was a lot of Premier League going on.
Yeah, Matchweek 36 and a bunch of the makeup games just being thrown out there.
Yeah, squeezing them all in.
Get them over. There's only one team that has no games remaining, and it's Man U, and I couldn't believe it. They have the sole one game left when other teams had three.
The one game left.
First game of the match week, Brentford, Southampton, to the lineups. Raya, Ayer, Henry, Janssen, Sorensen, Norgard, Jensen, Eriksson, Wisa, Tony, and Mbuemo. As far as Southampton go, we have Forrester, Walker, Peters, Perot, Salisu, Bednarak, JWP, Redmond, Stu Armstrong, Diallo, Armstrong, and Broja.
My boy Adam Armstrong finally getting a start.
Yeah, finally getting the start.
Can't go 3 in a row, Shane Long.
Yeah, which is really tragic. As soon as we said that, Mr. Rolf Hans Hasenhüttl has lost his mind.
Sure has.
Yeah, Southampton started all right. Probably first 5 minutes. But then after that, it was really downhill, and Brentford kind of started to take control of the game. They had a good amount of counterattacks early on that it just looked like they were definitely bound to score. They grab a goal off a set piece from Ivan Toney to Mr. Janssen. Counterattack from the long ball out the back. Eriksson fouled in build-up play. But Wisa, he takes it. He just took it from him, Sam, and scores. And just like that, inside 15 minutes, it's 2-0.
See, Southampton didn't expect the Wisa goal before the 85th
they
minute.
Thought, no, we're supposed to score to equalize, and then he scores.
Yeah.
Chance to make it 3, but Wisa misses a tap-in from point blank. Truly one of the worst misses of the season. Thought Southampton attack had shown flashes. None better than a back post ball that was headed across 6-yard box. Could have been scored, but cleared by Brentford. Brentford's defense just, besides that Man U game, it's really been solid over the last 8
Yeah,
weeks?
probably a couple of months now. They've really turned a corner.
Yeah,
they were.
It was the
sinking
Eriksson
fast.
signing.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse, great free kick chance, blocked. The free kick specialist, blocked.
Player of the season, blocked.
Broja chance through possession, but then it results in Adam Armstrong also having a chance, but he scores, but he's offside. It was just kind of off for Southampton in attack. It just wasn't really clicking, and then even if they do convert, like I said, offside. So 2-0 at halftime. Second half, Southampton carrying the weight of play, creating a lot of chances. Still just not able to capitalize. They get ever so close, but just cannot score. Really kind of been the thing for Southampton the second half of the year again. Tony with a wide open one-on-one chance and absolutely just messed it up entirely. Third goal, really kind of out of nowhere. Some nice nifty footwork by Mr. Ayer. Made the most out of it. Norgard gets an assist, but it was mainly all Ayer. Finishes 3-0. Very comfortable result for Brentford. Southampton, disappointment. You'd like to think that you're a little closer to Brentford, even though Brentford now are just playing really well and Southampton are not playing very well.
Yeah, you just consider the fact that Southampton has been established in the league for how many years? Quite a while now. Brentford comes in and, they've had a couple of really good spells. First half of the season, they played really well, and then they kind of had that dip in form. But then bringing in Christian Eriksen, it's been a revelation. I almost went Dubravka on you.
You almost won New England Revolutions.
Yes,
it's been a revolution.
It's been a revolution. Viva la Brentford. But, it's really impressive to see what Brentford has been able to do. Getting a comfortable win like this one, 3-0, clean sheet.
Yeah.
At home. It just pays when you get off to that fast start. You get those 2 quick goals. You almost have a third. That's something Southampton, sometimes they struggle with.
Yeah, they don't take advantage of when they do look all right. They just don't put it in the back of the net. They don't execute.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Next game. Burnley. Villa. At Turf Moor.
Yeah, I just want to preface this by saying I knew this would happen 100%. Getting into the lineups, Burnley, Nick Pope, Charlie Taylor, Tarkowski, Roberts, Nat Collins, Jack Cork, Brownhill, McNeil, Lennon, Veghorst, and Ashley Barnes.
Nat Collins? You that close with him?
Yeah, me and Nat.
Oh, see, it's me and Chuck Taylor.
Me and Chuck Taylor.
Yeah, we're rocking Chuck Taylors together.
Me and Jimmy Tarkowski.
Jimmy!
For Villa, Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Digne, Louise, McKinn, Buendia. Callum Chambers slotting in kind of as a defensive midfielder this game.
Yeah, he moved up a little bit.
And up front, Watkins and Ings.
Well, you got to move Callum Chambers up when you're going against the attack threat of Burnley. You just got to have as much defenders out there as possible.
True. Aston Villa get off to a great start. They take the early lead 7 minutes in. And who else other than Danny Ings with the cool, calm, composed finish past Nick Pope. Mad respect. Doesn't celebrate. Tough start for Burnley there.
Yeah.
Moving on later into the first half. A couple chances for Wout Weghorst, but he can't convert. He's been
out of form.
In some rough form, that is for sure. And when he's off form, he's just kind of this big, clumsy guy who doesn't look very graceful. And it really makes it look worse than it is. Villa capitalize again. Buendia passes it to the back of the net. Nice little finish there.
He's shown flashes this year, and I don't know if it'd be like more of a run of form would be better for him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if maybe Villa's just not the club for him. Maybe he should be, honestly, at a smaller club, but I don't know. I feel like I expect a little more out of him. Just not much more, but don't you feel that way? Just a little more?
Yeah, he was supposed to be kind of one of the marquee signings for Villa.
Mm-hmm.
And really, he's kind of just been, he pops up here and there, but it's almost like Villa as a whole, widely inconsistent. At times, very good, but at other times, also very bad. Just before halftime, Burnley has another chance through Dwight McNeil, but this shot is terrible. And
what can you say?
Martinez.
Dwight McNeil. He'll give you 2 good performances this entire season, then he goes to shit.
Yeah. Ends up halftime, Villa taking the lead 2-0. Emi Martinez has been time wasting since but the 4th minute of the game. Easily could have had 2 yellows, I think, personally.
Well, in the first half, that's pretty rough.
It is rough. And it's rough.
You're playing Burnley.
It's rough the fact that you're, 1, time wasting against Burnley, 2, time wasting against Burnley when you're 2-0 up. It's just super annoying.
Strike 3 is time wasting against Burnley when you're 2-0 up in the first half.
That's right. So, red card.
Straight red for time wasting.
It honestly should. It's so frustrating to watch. Villa add a third shortly after the halftime break through Ollie Watkins. Nice diving header. Nice ball in from Mr. John McGinn.
Been popping up. He must be looking to make a move.
Who, John McGinn?
Yeah,
or?
he must be seeing his name in the headlines or something.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to United. Him and James Ward-Prowse going to hold down the midfield for United.
Good. Be better than what they have now.
Burnley,
but not for the price.
Burnley get the consolation goal through Cornet, who comes on as a sub. But it is quite too little, too late.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Disappointing for Burnley.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like it's unfortunate that Villa, had to come out and pop off, but it was well deserved by Villa. And this is what should happen for Villa more often. Why does this not happen for Villa more often?
Right.
Is the real question.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Villa fans are saying the exact same thing. Why can't we see this more often? And yeah. In other news, just a small bit on Aston Villa announcing that they've permanently signed Philippe Coutinho. So that'll be interesting to see. He started off hot, but really
faded.
cooled off.
Yeah, he definitely cooled off, to say the least. We'll see. I guess they just are going to bank on kind of rotating the hot hand next year between him and Buendia, and Bailey is kind of like the guy who's kind of all over the pitch in terms of creativity and pace. But
yeah, I don't hate it.
No, for 17 mil, it's hard to get anyone even remotely that good for 17 mil.
Yeah.
Moving on. Chelsea, Wolves, the game that we figured no one would want. And in the end, it was Chelsea who didn't want it harder.
Charity FC strikes again.
To the lineups. Mendy, Rudiger, Silva, Dave, Alonso, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Reece James, Lukaku, Pulisic, Timo Werner. For Wolves, we have Sa, Bully, Cody, Saiss, Ait-Nouri, Neves, Johnny, Montinho, Dendoncker, Neto, and Raul Jimenez. To the game, Chelsea were doing their best impression of being long ball United out there in the first half. They were hoofing it forward. And Wolves, their attack is same as always on that counterattack where you think something might happen and then one thing goes wrong and it's just like, oh yeah, it's Wolves.
Yeah.
Big chance for Saiss off a set piece. Heads it into the ground, bounces over the bar. Wolves have good looks, but just putting them wide. And then Timo Werner scores, somehow waved off because of a foul. Thoughts?
Very controversial. I thought it was...
that was a dive.
It was pretty borderline.
That was a dive.
I think it kind of came down to the positioning of Saiss.
Yeah, and he was on the ground crying.
And that do be how it goes.
Chelsea putting on pressure as Lukaku has a shot on net, saved by Sa. Sa just pretty solid this game, as always. What can you say? Arguably should be the goalie of the season.
Tough competition this year.
Yes. Yes, with the likes of Tim Krul. Chelsea, goal off the set piece, disallowed at the back post. Mr. Loftus-Cheek crashed too hard. It was offsides. Wolves counterattack leads to a solid shot and save. And then it rebounds out, and Dendoncker absolutely fluffs his chance. Kovacic, excellent game. Creates a chance for Lukaku. A little pass and turn and shot saved by Sa. And at the very end of the half, solid counterattack from Wolves, but terrible shot selection from Ait-Nouri. Goes into half, 0-0. Second half, Chelsea start the half strong, but Jose saw too good at the moment. Reece James kind of got a little more involved. It's still kind of limited these last few games. Teams clearly targeting him, limiting his ability to affect the game, especially in attack. He had a free kick attempt, went just wide. Don't know if Saw gets there or not. Then the big moment, Sai's decision-making is quite strange. Gives away a penalty. Lukaku converts the penalty. I don't know what Sai's was thinking. That's back-to-back weeks of him just having a blunder of epic proportions.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes coming out of that Wolves defense, whether it be Sai's or Boley.
Yeah. Mainly Sai's right now. Chelsea come down, almost score, but Werner skies it. But then they do come down and get a second through Romelu Lukaku.
The man on form.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
We all knew it.
Just in time for the FA Cup final.
Just in time for Tottenham to get him for $100 million because he's going to play with Conte.
Woohoo.
Chelsea passing in the second half much, much better. Pulisic, on the other hand, was quite terrible this game.
Yeah, I forgot he was even playing for a long stretch.
I didn't forget because anytime he touched the ball, it instantly was turned over.
Yeah. That's bad.
Wolves hit on the counterattack. Trincao in. And he scores.
I can't believe it. Trincao scored. Who would've
Outside the
thought?
box, curler, upper 90.
Maybe that was just, maybe he was making
Saving it
shots
up.
too easy.
I think he just took one out of the page of Mr. Vitaly Yanel and said, guess what, Chelsea? I don't score goals. But against you,
Trap card.
I score goals. And then Wolves started really piling on. Trincao with another chance. Jimenez another great chance. And Wolves doing what they do best, missing. Wolves passing, just pulling Chelsea out. Chelsea looked like, honestly, it was less, we say how Chelsea looks like they don't care. They almost look like gassed in this one. They look like just really worn down. And then the story of Chelsea's season, they can't finish after a tremendous start. And wouldn't you know it, Wolves get the goal. 96th minute, Mr. Cody at the back post. Credit to Wolves. And you know what looked good for Wolves when it came on was Mr. Chiquinho.
Chiquinho, that guy's nuts, man. Love that guy. He
might
so
be
good.
the Wolves version of Mwepu. He's a little more attack-minded than Mwepu or anything, but he's like a secret weapon that you just pull out of nowhere, and he's
right.
He should have been playing over Adama Traore forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe he hasn't played, barely at all. He played a little bit against Arsenal, and he looked dangerous, and then he kind of disappeared.
He looks
for a
good
while.
anytime I watch that guy.
Yeah,
Finishes
absolutely dangerous.
2-2. Good comeback result for Wolves. They've had a couple this year, mainly the Villa one and now this. Chelsea, they just can't get over the hump, and they really need the season to end.
Charity FC strikes again.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Chelsea, when Wolves would hit on the counter, it looked a very minimal effort for them just to get to the other end of the field. Then the next thing you know, they have opportunities at shots. Like, they're not converting most of those, but still,
yeah, and
the
it's,
chances
I don't
are
know.
there.
I think it's kind of partially just lazy too by Chelsea. Not necessarily in defense, because the defense is obviously disorganized, but like just simple things. Like, how is Kai Havertz not able to hold up the ball in the corner at the end of the game? They had it down there for like a minute, and then he just lets it go out. It's like, okay.
Right, that's what people were
Pulisic.
saying. They had the ball at the other end with they're like,
And Pulisic holding the ball and just giving it away a lot. Like, I don't know.
mm-hmm.
Poor from Chelsea. Solid, I guess, from Wolves. But moving on, we have signed, sealed, delivered, a relegation. Sam is going to present it to you right here, live.
We're talking about Crystal Palace versus Watford. Watford needing to win every game to potentially stay alive.
Yes.
And we all
And
know that
have
was not going to happen.
And have everyone else lose.
Yeah. Into the lineups: Palace, Jack Butland. Shout out Jack Butland. I always like when he gets a start. Joel Ward, Gahey, Anderson, Klein, Eze getting another start. Will Hughes, Gallagher, Olise, Zaha, and Edouard. So, nice little bit of rotation in there for Palace. Not too much on the line here, so
No.
good to get guys some more playing time, especially a guy like Edouard, and Eze helps to get him back up to speed. For Watford, Foster, Kamara, Cathcart, Femenia, Samir, Tom Cleves, Sissoko, Kayembe, King, Sarr, and Dennis. All right, let me tell you, Hank. This
I'm
game was
ready.
terrible.
I believe
This
it.
game was terrible. Neither team looked like they cared, especially not Watford.
Yes.
They
on the brink of relegation.
They didn't believe that they could win every game and pull off the great escape.
Well, Mr. Kamara checked out a bit early, if I recall.
He absolutely did. First half, there was not much action. The only bit of action was the penalty in the 31st minute.
Wilf. Is that 12 for him now?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of goals. Trying to remember what the penalty was. I can't even remember what happened to give away the penalty. Might have been a handball or a foul.
Well, I would hope so. I don't know what else it could have been.
It's got to be one of those. Time wasting in the box. Anyway, Zaha steps up, converts the penalty, goes in halftime, 1-0. The big moment in the second half, Kamara getting his second yellow card and the send-off to send Watford off in style.
Yeah.
Just really stupid play overall.
So have you accepted it? Woy was the wrong appointment. He was tragic beyond all belief.
No, he knew there was no chance of saving Watford, and he was just going for the cash.
They should have just kept Chisco. You might as well have. And now I think that's hindsight 2020. What the hell did Ranieri do? What the hell did Roy Hodgson do?
Yeah, nothing.
Should have just kept the Republic of Georgia, man.
But, Watford, they have to fire their manager.
They do have to. Now they got a new guy, and it's very controversial. And I'm confused as to why.
Yeah, Mr. Rob Edwards coming in from Forest Green Rovers. Got promoted
League Two?
from League Two into
Yeah.
League One this season. Yeah, controversial apparently. He's still under contract.
Guess what? That happens all the time.
And
it's Watford. Who cares?
Watford didn't get permission from the club to speak with him, so a lot of bad beef. But really, we got to talk about the most important thing. The most important stat of the season for Watford.
Record breaking.
They may be relegated, but they lead the league in nutmegs. That's right.
Not
66
only lead the league,
nutmegs.
the most ever.
Most
right?
ever in a Premier League season.
I think it was like top 5 leagues.
Top 5.
Because I think they said the record was 62 from PSG in like a few years back.
Take that. Take that.
Joao Pedro and Ismail Yassar dab on us eternally as they go down to the championship.
Kings of the Nutmegs, you'll never sing that. So anyways, that game was a real bummer, but Palace
You know what was a good
gotta
one?
win.
Was the next one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was, if I do say so myself, a good hearty chuckle watching this
good
one
belly
happen
laugh.
live. Yeah, and beyond a knee slapper.
Honestly, this might be one of the games of the season.
All right, come on.
just from how
Funny.
funny and entertaining it was to watch this one.
It was pretty great.
Not in terms of quality, because one team sucked.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Anyways, people probably know we're talking about Brighton versus Manchester United live at the Amex. For Brighton, the lineups: Sanchez, Cucurella, Dunk, Veltman, Bissouma, Trossard, Solly March, Caicedo, Mac Allister, Pascal Gross.
Mac.
Life of a Mac.
Return of the Mac.
Danny Welbeck for United. De Gea, Lindelof, Varane, Deloteles, Juan Mata, Fernandes, Matic, Elanga, McTominay, and Ronaldo.
The Matic Mata pairing didn't go so hot in this one, lads. Nothing really went that hot. But once Brighton had that banger to start it off, it was toast.
That's right. 15 minutes in, Mr. Caicedo scoring his first goal in Brighton colours. A nice low strike outside the box, finding the corner. And Brighton were just all over United to start this game.
Yeah.
United looked like they were sleepwalking through it, honestly.
Maybe we're just sleepwalking.
You would have thought that Brighton was Liverpool out here, the way they were pressing them so
Well,
high up the pitch.
One does confuse Brighton for Liverpool.
Yeah, very similar teams.
Yeah, it's throughout the whole first half. I mean, Brighton looked the dominant side. There's no debate about that. United couldn't really get anything going in attack. It's just frustration. One of those games where Ronaldo's like clearly just frustrated.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't really blame him. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. You're just disappointed in United when you look at that. It's like, you're such a disgrace. You're so bad.
Absolutely, they are. It really came down to the fact that there was no midfield to try and work the ball out of the press for Brighton. So they ended up just hoofing the ball up, trying to get it to Ronaldo. But it's like you hoof it up and then you get the ball, but you're at the halfway line and you still got
And it's Ronaldo holding up the ball.
You still got to go halfway down the field. And
Say the only bad part about this game was Danny Welbeck let me down after I was really saying how good he was, and then he just skies the chip.
Yeah,
Couldn't get the revenge
sure
game goal. Could you imagine 5-0 Brighton? How beautiful that'd look.
And it's got to be said, the ball from Bobby Sanchez.
Dime.
Oh, man. We were criticizing him earlier in the season for his poor distribution, but this game, he was on point.
Well, yeah, if you don't press him, then he can do nice things. But normally it's like Man City will just get all over him. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, all right, here's a giveaway.
Yeah. Goes into halftime 1-0 United. Absolute horrid start.
I think United have put together 3 of the worst halves of any top. We'll include top 7 teams. That one against Leicester.
Yep.
This game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to say the one against Liverpool.
Yeah. And now that you say that, I have a fourth. The one against Watford.
Oh,
first half of the season.
Yeah.
That was a real stinker.
They're not a first half side, United.
Absolutely not. I mean, they could barely string together 2 passes.
They're a team of adjustments. Ranić goes in the locker room. He says, "You must be dreaming."
Gunde Allen Rice. You are dreaming. Coming out into the second half, Brighton waste no time. 49th minute. Another first goal. This time, it's for Mr. Marc Cucurella.
He's being rumored to some top teams in the English Premiership now.
Haven't seen that. Who's he rumored to?
I saw Tottenham as one. Would fit in real nice with Conte's system.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, it was a pretty wholesome moment. Cucurella was getting emotional on the goal celebration.
Well, he's one of our guys. And he knew that if he scored that goal, he would have made us proud, and that's why he started tearing up.
He was doing it for the memes. He thought, oh, we're going to batter United. The memes. Tears of joy. Brighton get a third just a few minutes later. Pascal Gross weaving through the box and finishes nicely. Another great ball up from Mr. Bobby Sanchez. And then just 2 minutes later, Welbeck nearly gets the chip, and Trossard just has to stand there to have the ball come off of him.
I count that as a goal for Danny Welbeck. That counts.
Yeah. Some really abysmal play out of the whole United back line. And I got to say, Hank, it's all Maguire's fault.
Yeah,
It's all his fault.
I'd say so.
Rest of the game,
Slabby.
Brighton nearly score in the 65th minute. And then after that, United decide that they're actually going to start playing. Bruno hits a nice volley. Sanchez comes up with a nice save. Then Cavani scores, but he's offside. And Maguire got subbed on, and he had a header hit off the post. But still, they couldn't score. Ends 4-0. I think it was like Brighton's biggest win in the Premier League or something.
I believe it. For a team that's been just honestly pretty shit at home in Brighton. They're near the bottom of the table if you're just looking at the home-away splits, and you just get thrashed by them. This might just be the wake-up call that United need, though, for this summer in terms of getting certain guys out, getting certain guys in. But, yeah,
Absolutely.
Don't kid yourselves, United. You are very far off a top 4 spot.
Yeah, it just really makes you think, like, where did this all go wrong?
How did this happen to me?
It did seem like they were on track to kind of get back into the top 4 race. You know, there was a few years. They finished that year second with Mourinho.
Oh, you're talking about just in general. I thought you meant this
Prior
year.
years,
Even
yeah.
this year, honestly, they're top 4 for a while. Sure, they had some teams had games in hand, but they were still in the thick of things.
Yeah.
And then they had that stretch where they took 8 points from 8 games. And they weren't playing the most spectacular of teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it really was like, oh, so you just kind of threw away your season?
Yeah, once they fired Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it all
Even
went
then,
downhill.
they had Ranić going for a while, but then like February-ish, when they're still 4th, after that they took 8 points from 8 games. It just really went all downhill.
Yeah. Even when Ranić came in, you could tell that.
I don't know. The thing is like one thing is like he dumbed things down and kept it simple. And some, less is more. Sometimes it works out, but it's like you can't just keep going with that. Like teams are gonna catch on if you just keep playing that simple. Like remember we had the conversation about we're like, what the hell is their identity in attack? You don't even really know, and they kind of never figured it out. And that's how you take 8 points from 8 games.
No, I think there wasn't really even a material change when Ranić came in. Yeah, they got a decent run of results when he came in, but the football they were playing was, pretty much the same tier that they were playing under Ole. Maybe even worse at times. Just goes to show like how much of a rebuild they need.
Yeah.
And how poorly they've done so far at trying to rebuild.
They're rebuilding the rebuild.
Yeah.
And have been. And proof of that, the proof of this whole project, you'd probably say it'd have to be Pogba.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Sums it up.
He's gone. Oh, he had 4 assists in one game against Leeds. Okay. That's cool. Oh, he doesn't really do his job, what he's supposed to out there on the pitch.
Yeah, he plays like
He's a
238.
He's a horseshit leader for his team. Meanwhile, he's £100 million transfer guy. Oh. No, that just kind of sums up United. They just need high character guys more so than high skill guys, honestly, at this point.
True that.
Speaking of high skill and high character guys, we're going to look at Liverpool's side as they host Tottenham Hotspur. Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, Mane, Salah, Luis Diaz. The linchpin. Luis the linchpin, they call him. Because if they didn't have him, where would they be? Tottenham, Lloris, Romero, Dyer, Davies, Højbjerg, Royale, Sessegnon, Betancourt, Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Liverpool, fast and aggressive in possession early on, but their shots just weren't very good, to be honest. Tottenham really only had 1 or 2 counter-attack chances in the first half. But, they're still able to get the ball in Liverpool's half, but if it wasn't going fast, it didn't feel like it was going anywhere. They weren't going to generate something through possession. Liverpool, many chances, particularly off corners and crosses, but Tottenham doing just enough to hold on. Late in the first half, Virgil van Dijk off the crossbar. It was a header from a corner. Diaz had a nice shot from the edge of the box. Low diving save by Lloris. Tottenham, good counterattack chance. Laid back to Højbjerg outside the box, rip off the post. Just struggle to create chances, though. Win the ball back the majority of the time and string together long spells of possessions for both sides, honestly, I thought, in that first half. You couldn't really see a dominant side. Second half, Tottenham tightens up the defense a bit. Really just not letting Liverpool do nearly as much, even in midfield. And then Tottenham get the goal. Long ball up to Kane. Dribbles into space. Finds Sessegnon, who squares it for Son. And all you can really do is say, Andy Robertson, that was trash. Completely lost Sessegnon. Stuck with Son to play him on. Single-handedly pretty much crapped his pants to create the goal for Tottenham. Tottenham able to deal with crosses. And Liverpool, they kind of felt a bit panicked. For like 1 second, I made the comp in my head. I was like, this kind of is like Man City, where they just start throwing balls in there. It's just Cancelo crosses. Tottenham create another great chance soon after, but the original cross goes a bit far. Then Liverpool really start to ramp it up, getting back into it. Salah chance, blocked. What looked like it was going in the net, but Luis Diaz gets a separate chance soon after, and a little deflection, and it's in the back of the net, 1-1. Tottenham really pinned in to end the game, not able to break on the counter really at all. But then out of nowhere, they finally do get a chance. And it's a free header for Højbjerg at the back post, but he tries to head it back to Kane, and it was a shit header. He should have just headed it for a shot. Finishes 1-1. Honestly, not that spectacular of a game. Not a bad game, but not the fireworks you might have thought. I figured it would have been a little high scoring, maybe a 3-2 or 3-3, something like that. But 1-1. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, I think this game just showed finally that Liverpool were punished for their inefficiencies in offense. You know, creating so many chances, but only getting the one goal. We've seen that. They've struggled with that throughout the season. It'd either be where they would look the worst team and then ultimately pull out the victory, or they'd look the better team, dominate the game, but still be super inefficient. The game that I always think of is that game against Palace, where they were just absolutely dominating the game, but they weren't really getting the goals, and Palace was almost allowed to get back into the game, exploiting Liverpool on the counterattack. And then you have Tottenham, who tend to be quite a bit more efficient with their chances. This game they had, like that one for Højbjerg, and
Yeah, they had a handful of them, but they took their one.
They took their one, and really, you go to Anfield and you get one goal. That's a start.
Yeah.
It's potential.
Yeah, the main thing I thought was Tottenham's defense was playing very well out there this week, especially this Liverpool game, holding Liverpool to one goal. And, I mean, the one goal came from a deflection through a group of bodies. So,
yeah,
could have easily won this game, taken all 3 points.
Yeah, and Tottenham is a team, the shape that they play can easily drop back and be really sound defensively.
Yes. So Liverpool drop points. It's happened. City or Liverpool cracked, and it was Liverpool.
Yeah. Gotta say, that about does it, don't you think?
Well, we'll keep going, and we'll get there.
All right.
But moving on to Arsenal and Leeds, the race for the top four and the race for relegation. See, this is a great game because it has two teams that matter.
The double implications.
Yes. The lineups.
The lineups for Arsenal: Ramsdale, Gabriel, Rob Holding, no Ben White injured, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Saka, Odegaard, Elneny, Xhaka, Martinelli, and Eddie Nketiah. For Leeds: Meslier, Ayling, Firpo, Koch, Llorente, Rafinha, Dan James, Harrison, Phillips, Click, and Joey Gelhardt getting the start up front. This one,
Leeds looked really good in this one, especially early on.
it was a rough go for Leeds in the first 10 minutes. First goal, Eddie Nketiah takes the ball off of Ilan Meslier.
That was a great decision to have the ball on your own goal line.
Yeah, not a great idea. Leeds trying to play out of the back.
Leeds are like, here, just take the game. We don't want it.
Just take the game.
Here's 2 goals and a red.
Yeah.
And there's no way we can come back.
Yeah, and Nketiah gets the second one 5 minutes later. Assist from Mr. Gabriel Martinelli. And then, like you alluded to, in the 27th minute, Luke Ayling with the decision maker comes flying in with a 2-footed tackle on Martinelli. And
Did you get 3 for that or just 1? It's 3, right? Did you have one before it? Leeds are so trash, I can't remember. Obviously, it'd be out 1 game for sure.
Oh, 3 game suspension.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 unless you appeal it, and then it's 3. Or is it if you had a red card?
3. It's
you
3
get
if
2
you've had
the
one.
first time and then 3
Yeah.
the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if he's had another one this season. Second half, Leeds up for the monumental task. They looked somewhat better, and then Arsenal was just kind of faltering at their chances to really kill off the game. And it was poor by Arsenal not to take a hold of the game and finish it out. And really, you gave Leeds a window back into the game when they really shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's the thing. Leeds always kind of stay ready in case their opponent just, for whatever reason, does decide to play down to Leeds level. Leeds are capable of doing some things, but I don't know. Their midfield's back to being really, really, really bad, even with Calvin Phillips out there.
I was having flashbacks to the game against Wolves where they came back, and I thought, oh, not this game. Especially when in the 66th minute, Llorente scored from the corner kick. And that made it a little spicy towards the end of the game. It wasn't the easy win that Arsenal probably thought it would be after 10 minutes when they were up 2-0, and then the red card, which it really should have been. I think it kind of shows the inexperience of the Arsenal side here.
Yeah, it goes to show that's their defense is shaky at times, and it's very confusing as to why it's shaky at times and not shaky at other times.
Right.
It's like you're playing Leeds lads and you're up a man. Why are you conceding?
Yeah, it seems like Arsenal is a team that kind of plays better when there's lower expectations. When the pressure's on them, they get a little nervous.
The small club mind mentality.
Whatever you want to call it. But anyways, Arsenal hold on, pick up a massive 3 points, allows them to drop some points and still finish in the top 4. Moving on to the next match.
Oh my goodness. It's Everton, aka Neverton, never going downton, versus Leicester City. To the lineup: Schmeichel, Fofana, James, Amarte, Tielemans, Perez, Mendy, Castagne, Dewsbury, Iheanacho, and Daka. Everton: Pickford, Holgate, Mina, Iwobi, Mikolenko, Coleman, Delph, Gray, Doucouré, Anthony, Gordon, and Richarlison. Before I start this, I just want to say that I saw Mason no, maybe it's Godfrey. Is Holgate or Godfrey was rumored to Tottenham this week. Moving on To the game. Everton give away Leeds to Leicester chances. And Daka has his goal taken off the line by Mr. Yuri Mina, but leaving that little chance open there. Everton, you can't afford to do these things to yourselves, yet here you are. Everton just decide to throw. Or rather, they throw the ball in, cross the top of the box. Mikolenko, after I said someone would score who we wouldn't suspect to score, and I jokingly said Mikolenko, and Sam said, no, he could never. And here we are. He hits an absolute peach of a strike.
Respect.
Everton counterattack leads to a Gray run, finds Dukare, whose shot is stopped on the goal line, and immediately Leicester send it upfield. They're going down the pitch, and Everton decide to bonk heads and lead to a wide open goal for Leicester. And hilarity ensues. My sides are in orbit as I hear the goal song play, and I'm just thinking about Everton defenders crashing into each other. Yeah.
No, that's the coffin dance.
Yeah, you did.
What? This is topping the charts in podcast action right here. People, listen in as we describe Leicester's goal song.
Everton, after the goal, they kind of shored up a bit, look a little more solid in possession. They get a corner, and Leicester, once you know it, concede on it. Mr. Holgate gets his goal, 2-1, takes the advantage. Goes in halftime, 2-1. Second half, very open start to the second half. Pickford, big save. Where have we heard that before on Mr. Mendy? Leicester holding most of the play for a good chunk of the early second half. Good crossing, good passing by Leicester. Leads to a headed chance saved by Pickford. And then Pickford, it was really the Pickford show in the second half, makes a massive save on Harvey Barnes. And then Barnes had a header just go wide. And that's how it finishes. 2-1. Some Everton counters get them the goals, and then the Leicester counter get them goal. Game of counter-attack goals, and then once the counter-attack's dried up, Leicester's going to have to manufacture the goal, which they couldn't, which is why, Sam, they lost the game.
Yeah, I think if Chelsea is Charity FC, Leicester's like Charity FC Junior at this point.
They are... I was trying to incorporate because it's LCFC as opposed to CFC.
Yeah.
But what could the L stand for? Not less charitable FC.
Less charitable. Little charitable FC.
Lil L-I-L.
Little Charity FC. Little Charity FC on the mic.
Everton, massive result. The defense held up, surprisingly to me. Leicester, what can you say? At least you get Vardy back in the next game we talk about you.
Yeah.
Moving on to possibly the most meaningless game
This is like
of
a glorified
eternity.
friendly.
This is terrible. Norwich, West Ham. Maybe recap the goals. I don't even know. Do you have to do anything?
Yeah. Who cares about the lineups? I mean, it was all
It was
West
the
Ham.
Benrahma.
It was all
show.
West
He's
Ham
back.
in this game. Yeah, Benrahma looked pretty good. Benrahma opened the
Mikel
scoring.
Antonio even scored, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's how you know it was a
Thrashing.
friendly match. Benrahma got his first goal 12 minutes in, and then Antonio in the 30th minute. Then Said Benrahma added a third just before halftime. That one really killed off the game.
Be honest, did you watch this game?
I did watch the game.
Oh my,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
I don't know why, but I just kept watching it for some reason. 65th minute, the game was already done, but Norwich gave up a penalty.
Was it Ben Gibson? Mr.
I
Hanley.
don't think it was Gibson. I think it might have been Max Aarons. I can't remember
Stinky
exactly.
poo-poo.
I wish it said who gave up the penalty, but
No one cares. It finishes 4-0 for
4-0.
West Ham.
Jared
Dominant.
Bowen looked pretty good.
West
Benrahma
Ham-
looked good.
Like, you didn't even have expectations for a while because you're already out of finishing top 4.
Yep.
And you still were playing like crap. And now you just drop this for no reason. Like, just a slap in the face to Norwich on the way out. To
Yeah.
our guy Dean Smith. Very rude.
Very rude. And all the Norwich fans, very sad. Yeah, Declan Rice looked pretty good as well.
Moving on to a game that matters. We have Manchester City and we have Newcastle United. What are you doing? Get to the lineups. Ederson, Diaz, Zinchenko, Laporte, Cancelo, Sterling, Gundogan, Grealish, Rodri, De Bruyne, and Gabby Jesus. Newcastle, Dubravka, Lascelles, Target, Kraft, Byrne, Joelinton, Longstaff, Guimaraes, ASM, Wood, Almiron.
Dubravka, save us.
I like a blonde
Dubravka,
Bruno.
Dubravka.
It's a good look. The blonde bombshell
He
Bruno.
looks like he got the off-brand hair dye that costs
Well,
$5.
He definitely did.
And he did it himself.
The Saudi checks haven't kicked in yet. Big chance for Gucci Grealish winning a free kick. De Bruyne wastes it. Newcastle a little dangerous early on. Some counterattacks, a little bit of possession, but their best chance was Chris Wood, who I honestly had a really good chance. Headed it right at Ederson. Probably should have scored. Laporte, wasteful on a corner routine, skying it. Man City, all these back post chances, can't score. Then they finally get a goal. Once you know it, back post, Syke heads it from back post to the other post.
The near post.
Well, it's no longer near because the goalie
The
ran
back
to the
post
back
of the
post.
back post.
Yeah, the secondary back post. They had to double the back post to eventually score at the back post. Cross from Sterling, tap in, header for the man, Raz. And then Laporte with a goal. Actually, Newcastle scored, but Bruno was just offside. Had to check that over. But then second through a set piece, leads to a scramble. Laporte taps it in. First half, Cancelo looked really good in terms of the passing, I noted. Second half, another goal off a set piece. This time, a header at the near post. Rodri kind of fell apart for Newcastle in the second half. Zinchenko, big chance, saved by Dubravka. Newcastle down 3. They had one or two chances. Wilson, one-on-one with the keep, cannot score. Good to see Cam Wilson back. Not good to see him not scoring in those situations. Fourth, great pass. Mr. Zinchenko to Grealish to Foden. And then the fifth to close it out is Grealish and Foden link up. Little layoff for the tap-in merchant himself, Raheem Sterling. 5-0. It felt a little unjust to Newcastle. Could have been a Watford 5-1. Could have been a nice 3-0 City. But nonetheless, City sparked by Liverpool's loss, you'd have to imagine, and they said, we smell blood in the water, and we're going for it. And Sam lost internet connection.
What the heck's going on? Okay, we're back. Label.lineups. Nice web design, Premier
Yes.
League.
Label.lineups. But yeah, City run rampant over Newcastle.
They got the momentum.
Yes. To the next game. I think that was it for technically match week 36.
Yeah,
And then it moved on to the
midweek.
midweek games. Villa, Liverpool. The lineups. Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Digne, Luis McGinn, Marvelous, Coutinho. Please scroll down. I see these things. Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings. Sam's computer's absolutely bricked.
No, the Premier League website is messed up. It says label.goalkeeper, label.defender.plural. The captain's armband is just label.
Alisson, Van Dijk, Shamika, Sam's guy, Matip, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Keita, Jones, Mane, Jota, Diaz. You can apparently rotate Mo Salah, but you can't live without Luis Diaz.
Time to sell Mo Salah? Question mark?
Stinky Salah. To the game.
Egyptian fraud.
He always was. Chelsea knows best, right?
Vindicated, finally.
Villa, buzzing. Big chances for Watkins. Falls to Luis, 1-0. Liverpool defenders collide. Started from a Liverpool shove, so it was allowed. Great ball in from Digne. Kind of strange one because Watkins was originally off, but he didn't score. It was just a shot that was saved and parried away, and they didn't blow it dead because it's a start of a whole new play.
Yeah.
And Villa go down later to score. Then Liverpool go down with an absolutely terrible goal. Van Dijk lifts it to Matip after the initial scramble. So it's 1-1 inside 6 minutes. After that, it kind of, evened out a little bit in terms of, it wasn't quite as open. They got kind of open even more. Mane, big chance, just wide. Ings, skying a chance from a header. Should have done better. John Moss, this game has to be said. Very strange decisions, and they all went against Aston Villa.
Conspiracy theories.
Second half, Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick almost goes upper 90, just wide. Liverpool kind of feel in control at this point early in the second half. Then a Liverpool fast build-up ends in what I think was a shit cross because it's supposed to go far, but it actually turned out to be a perfect one. Mane, great turnaround header for a goal, 2-1. Ings, you've seen it from Danny Ings be so wasteful sometimes this year. Some big chances and just cannot take them. And then he eventually does take one, but he's offside when he scores. Yeah, that's about it. Ings had a few chances at the end, as I was saying, and that was all she wrote.
It was supposed to be the week where he scored against both his former clubs in Burnley and Liverpool.
Well, he scored, but he was offside, so it doesn't count.
Isn't it weird when you think about Danny Ings on Liverpool?
He's had a
that
strange
feels
career.
like a fever dream or something. It didn't actually happen.
That whole stretch of Liverpool, signing Balotelli.
Balotelli.
What the hell?
Benteke.
What was even going through their minds?
that
Ricky
truly
Lambert.
was chaos.
Ricky Lambert was like the start of it.
Yeah.
I know we'll bring in a 32-year-old who's had one good year for Southampton. Good result for Liverpool. Pretty even performance. I would give the edge to Liverpool. But, Villa, what can you say? You've had performances like this all year where you play pretty well, but just can't capitalize enough.
Yeah.
And here you are.
That's
So,
the next step.
Pulls Liverpool to within 1 point again, technically, right? Or no?
Well, maybe because City hadn't played at that point.
Yes.
But
Yeah. No. So right now they were sitting at no, it pulled them to even, and then City had a result. So right now, as we look at it live, 89 to 86, atop the table. It would take something from City. I mean, all it takes is one game, but still, it's so hard to see City losing a game right here at the end in the last two. Villa have a chance to do it on the last day, but we'll see. Moving on. Is it really Leeds Chelsea? I'm hogging all the games right now.
yes, you are.
feel free to fast forward past this if you don't like to listen to Hank go through games.
I'll timestamp every time I talk so people can skip to those points.
Well, yeah, of course.
Oh, Hank's talking again. Let me skip through this.
Oh, God, not this
Gotta
guy.
listen to Sam and his golden pipes. He sounds like a young Susan Boyle.
And looks like one, too. To the lineups we go.
She is about time.
She actually sang that song. Melier, Koch, Cooper. Are you going to scroll? Rafinha in the back line, apparently. Llorente, Struijk, Dan James, Harrison, Phillips, Lewis Bate. They're really going for the Chelsea revenge game. And Rodrigo, as far as Chelsea go, Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Chabala, Alonso, Jorginho, Kovacic, James, Lukaku, Pulisic, Chalaba.
You said Chabala.
It doesn't matter.
Roll back the tapes.
Doesn't matter.
Timestamp
Pulisic, Mount. All right. In this one, Chelsea have possession for 3 minutes and immediately score. Leeds did one thing terribly wrong in this game, and that was give Reece James all the time in the world. Reece James creating space, lays it off for Mount, edge of the box. Perfect rip, top of the net. Chelsea, whole first half, just came close to adding a second one. Lukaku could have had a second one. Mount rockets the pass, past him. Leeds kind of get back in the game for a bit, don't create any real chances. And then we get a red for Dan James on Kovacic, which was just a mad lad challenge if I've ever seen one. Gets a little of the ball, gets a whole lot of leg with the studs up. I think the best part was Leeds fans yelling at Kovacic, like calling him a pussy and to get off the field and stuff, even though like he was being subbed off. like they're just like yelling at him like he's time wasting or something.
Would you break your ankle?
Yes, it did. Lukaku scores, but it's offside. Chelsea, endless chances, but cannot grab a second before half, as I was saying. So it goes in 1-0 at half. Leeds with just so bad, in attack and defense, but mainly in defense. And that allows Reece James to do his thing. Pulisic capping off nice passing sequence. Leeds out of the back stink. And almost give up a goal as Jorginho takes it away, but Pulisic skies it. Lukaku, another chance. It's just a bunch of Chelsea misses. And then finally, Lukaku adding a third goal after Pulisic's. Is he officially hot now? 3 in 2 games?
He's heating up.
What can you do? He
Informed
only plays the
forward.
first month and the last month of the season.
Bookends.
Yeah, and that came from, honestly, kind of a strange goal. It looked like they had a sweaty goal, and then he just kept faking and pulling Melier and the defenders out. Had about 3 fake shots, and then finally shot it and scored. And just comes from Leeds in midfield with their pants down. I mean, they just look so bad. Finishes 3-0. I guess fair result, honestly, could have been like 6 if Chelsea were half decent at scoring. But Leeds, it's looking gloomy.
Leeds are single-handedly relegating themselves.
It's a sinking feeling for your guy, Mr. Marsh. Mr. Marsh!
Yeah, I'm not sure. He was talking about, they're really going to go full throttle.
You played Lewis
these last
Bate.
few
played
games.
Lewis Bate. So
By full throttle, he meant we're going to go two-footed into every challenge, red cards in every game, and we're going to lose by multiple goals.
yes, that's what you strive for.
Yeah, not ideal.
To the next game, Leicester, Norwich. This is another game. Oh my God.
I think we can do a quick run through on this one too.
I don't think so. This was
We got to break it down.
Yeah, we don't even need the lineups. But I'll tell you what, Leicester in this game, it really came down. They just look so much better, and they're so much enjoyable to watch with Jamie Vardy out there.
Yes.
It's truly,
Night and day.
yeah. And they had a bunch of chances early on. It was pretty much all Leicester most of the game. Agnes Gunn had some very nice saves in this game for like no reason. I'd say Norwich did have a chance technically to score in the first half, but Pookie 1-on-1 puts it off the post. And Janulis had another chance, but was saved by Schmeichel. Second half, Vardy, good chance, blocked by Hanley. What was going to be a goal, or what looked to be a goal. But then what beats Agnes Gunn is a deflected chip for the first goal of the game, Jamie Vardy. And then Norwich, down 1-0, say, hey, let's play out of the back, folks. And Leicester say, thank you. Thank you very much. Give the ball away, concede it to Vardy. Vardy scores. Lastly, Dewsbury Hall, rip, rebound, right to Madison. Somehow no one's there for Norwich. 3-0. All Leicester, except for about 2 chances for Norwich. So I can't say much about Leicester's defense in this one, but their attack looked a whole lot better. Barnes was involved. Madison was involved. Lookman had like 1 chance. Dewsbury Hall involved. Vardy involved. You know, wasn't really involved. Call Mr. Checkout. Call Tielemans Mr. I'm checked out for the season and been checked out for a good while.
Sure is.
I don't know why he's out there. They might as well just play someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on. Finally, a game that matters a whole lot.
Yes.
And Sam gets to go over it with you.
Yes.
It's Watford-Everton.
The relegation scrap, although Watford already relegated. Everton looking to pick up points.
Not in their minds.
One.
They said, hey, we actually got a result when we didn't need one.
For the lineups, Watford, Ben Foster, Ngakia.
We don't even need the lineups. We don't need the lineups.
Hey, highlight of this was that Dan Gosling got his first start.
Wow, Bournemouth legend.
This season.
I think he ends up on Newcastle next year with Eddie Howe.
And the front three of Pedro, Sema, and Kalu.
Who is Kayembe? Who's that guy?
That's Kayembe.
They had Samuel Kalu out there, not even Solomon Kalu?
No, his brother. Yeah, this game sucked, honestly. If you can believe that. A 0-0 between Watford and Everton sucked. There's like just no energy. No one really looked like they cared that much.
Team already going down?
The attendance was like a quarter full. It was so bad. And the Watford fans that were there looked like they were just there to like make fun of the team, honestly. It was kind of funny.
It's not a bad way to go about it.
Yeah, first half, there really wasn't much. Everton looked decent on the break at times through Gray and let's see, who else?
Gordon.
Gray and Gordon, yeah.
Yeah, I could have told you that just from the fact Everton have like no one with talent.
Yeah, but really they weren't creating any chances off those. They just were hitting fast. But yeah, went into halftime 0-0. Second half, Foster comes up with a big save on Richarlison's deflected shot, and that was like the first real shot.
You love to see it.
And then probably the best one of the game was Damari Gray in the 62nd minute, but he put it just wide. So that one ends 0-0. Everton pick up a point, I guess.
My nomination for Game of the Week.
Yeah, Game of the Week. That one was a great one. Thanks for giving me that one, Hank.
Everton.
Moving on to the next match. Man City.
What are you talking about? You picked this week. I picked this next week. You picked that game.
I originally picked Villa versus Liverpool.
Well, then that sucks to suck.
For Wolves, Sa, Bolly, Cody, Johnny, Ait-Nouri, Neves, Chiquinho.
Yes.
Let's go, Chiquinho. João Moutinho, Dendonker, Neto, and Raul Jimenez. For Man City, Ederson, Zinchenko, Laporte, Fernandinho playing center back.
Yes.
Cancelo, Sterling, Gundogan, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, and Bernardo Silva.
Call it the Kevin De Bruyne special, the 4-piece meal.
Let me tell you about this game. Kevin De Bruyne, when he's on form, is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Gets his first goal 7 minutes in. Really nice team play out of City in general. De Bruyne linking up well with Bernardo Silva in that false 9 role. And he just slots it home. Cool as you like. It looked like he barely broke a sweat scoring that goal. But Wolves say, we're still in it. And they scored just 4 minutes later. Hit on the counterattack. And then Donker scores as the ball rolls through to the other side. And he scores. Wolves, it was kind of like the Chelsea game where there was attacking threat. It was there. Man City did not look all that stable defensively, especially having Fernandinho stepping up and playing in the center back role. You could tell there was a bit of a drop off there, but really, Man City's attack was popping off through De Bruyne. 16 minutes in, he gets his second goal. He capitalizes off the ball coming off a saw after he comes out to intervene on Sterling, making the run in. Unlucky for Saw.
Yeah.
He did all he could do.
Anything that goes against Jose Sa is unlucky at this point. He's too good right now.
True. And then De Bruyne completes the hat trick 24 minutes in. And this one was a real peach. The solo run and effort, the shot from the edge of the box. Take a bow, Kevin De Bruyne.
Take a bow, son.
There was a big moment in the 34th minute. Zinchenko pulled down Chiquinho in the box.
Sam's guy pulling my guy down in the box.
Nothing was given. They barely even took a look at it. It looked like a Stonewall pen to me. That could have changed the game.
It could have made it 3-2. I agree, though. It should have been a pen.
Just before halftime, Raheem Sterling pulls off a terrible dive in the box.
Some ref. Honestly, this game, it eventually became meaningless. Someone should have gave him a red for diving at some point.
Yeah.
It should happen.
Yeah, it does. Along with Martinez and his time wasting, Sterling and his diving. Let's get these reds out, boys. Goes into halftime, 3-1. Second half, De Bruyne in the 60th minute gets his 4th of the night. Ball fell nicely to him in the box, and he scored easily. Foden had a chance that hit off the post, and then Sterling added a 5th with the tap-in for the tap-in merchant himself. Another dominant victory for Man City.
Another fantastic performance by Raheem Sterling.
Production.
He does what he does.
He's got to be like the worst best player there is.
He's just the worst player that ever was. He just lucked into one good year at Liverpool.
True. He runs funny.
Yeah, with his arms flopping around. All right.
And that wraps it up. That is the end of Matchweek 36.
To the game
There's no
of
other
the
games.
week.
Arsenal only played once. Tottenham only played once. There was no other game.
How did this game make you feel? To the lineups.
I have nothing to say.
To the lineups. Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, Højbjerg, Royale, Sessegnon, Betancourt, Son, Kane, Kulusevski. For Arsenal, we have Ramsdale, Gabriel holding. He's holding on. Out there is what he's doing. Soares. Mr. Soares. He's sore from this terrible performance.
He soars.
Tomiyasu, Odegaard, Elneny, Xhaka, Saka, Nketiah, Martinelli. This one, honestly, pretty even early on.
The first 5 minutes, Arsenal were pinning back Tottenham. Really far
I'm
back.
saying as far as like even within 20 minutes, I would say is pretty even for the most part. And then we have a moment of absolute chaos. Cross back post. Originally called for a hand, it looked like, but then it's like, no, there was no hand. They're just going to call the foul in midair on Son. results in a Kane penalty.
And are we going to review it? Not really.
Well,
We'll throw a once over and we'll call it good.
Yeah, we decide that everything goes against Arsenal as far as VAR.
Yeah.
It's almost as if every team has good and bad moments with VAR.
No. Wrong. You're wrong.
Kane slots the penalty home. And then shortly after that, we have a massive moment. First yellow for Rob Holding. Just a transition play. Foul Son to stop the play. Gets a yellow. Second yellow on the 33rd minute. Kind of strange. Felt like it's one of those where it's like it's pretty soft, but clearly you have Harry Kane who knows what he's doing. He's posting up Holding.
Son,
rather. Posting him up. And he says, look, I'm going to go down real easy here, and the ref's going to be in a tough spot. With how things were going against Arsenal in this game, you knew it was going to be a second yellow.
Yeah, Son knew exactly what he was doing. He was working Holding the entire game. He was winding him up. Before that, Son got away with an elbow on Holding. Nothing given. And then this one
it's one of those
where he just runs into Holding.
Yeah, it's one of those for me where it's like, is it really a yellow, especially a second yellow? But then it's like, why are you in that position? Like, to even be, I just didn't like it. But yeah, second yellow for Mr. Holding. And then they get a goal through Harry Kane off a corner, off a set piece. I forget.
Yeah, crap defending at the back post by Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, ring, who's there? Harry Kane, diving header, back post is who's there. Son, at the start of the second half, gets one which I didn't know if they'd call a penalty if Son, lost the ball or skied it or something, because I think Kane just, tipped over, but I think it was more the announcer just making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And then Son rather, scores. After that, smooth sailing for Tottenham. Not many chances for either side to close it out. 3-0. Went about as terrible as it could have for Arsenal. Went about as good as it could have for Tottenham Hotspur and Mr. Conte. Throw themselves right back in the thick of things. You know, you lose to Brighton who can't score. You lose to them at home. You blow games to Southampton. What do? You come out, you play Liverpool tough, and you blow the doors off Arsenal. The eternal state of Tottenham Hotspur, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And I just got to say, Paul Tierney should have never been in charge of this game.
It's the ref's fault.
He is a terrible ref, and he was looking to make his mark on this game, and he did. And that's all I got to say.
Well, we'll have to click on those fan polls up in the upper right to see what they gotta say.
How shite is Paul Tierney? 10 out of 10.
So right now the table, City up 3 over Liverpool. As far as the top 4, we have Chelsea at 70, Arsenal at 66, Tottenham at 65. Chelsea with a draw all but seal a top 4 finish, even if they lose to Watford. Or, well, I guess if they lose to Leicester and then draw with Watford, or they draw with Leicester, lose to Watford. Doesn't really matter. Chelsea have enough goal differential. All they need is a draw. But with Chelsea, you never know. Arsenal, last 2 games. Who are we looking at?
Newcastle away and Everton at home.
Newcastle and Everton. Tottenham, last 2 games.
Burnley and Norwich.
Well, you don't want to play Norwich on the last game. That's for sure. That's a blown game if I ever saw one.
You don't want to play Norwich because you won't get any time on the pod.
That's
we just
true.
skip over your game.
Relegation right now, 16th, Everton at 36, 17th, Burnley at 34, 18th, Leeds with 34. Down on goal differential as we speak. Let's get to some predictions for the next match week of games. Tottenham, Burnley. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Would you rather have Arsenal beat Tottenham, or would you rather have Burnley beat Tottenham?
I'd rather have Arsenal beat Tottenham, but if Burnley beat Tottenham, that would be very swell, and I would love it. It would make me feel a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, with that one, where the hell are you going? I'm trying to read out here. I'm trying to read my thoughts by looking at the games.
Just trying to understand this schedule.
End of season.
That makes no sense. Why are the games all on Sunday?
Because the FA Cup final Saturday brawl, the most important game of the year.
I think
by
I got time to
anyone.
watch these games on Sunday. Jesus.
Tottenham Burnley. Back to it. I just like Tottenham's midfield right now. I don't have a ton of faith in Burnley's attack, but Tottenham putting in some good defensive shifts. They're bound to have a let up at some point defensively, so maybe a corner goal out of nowhere or something. I'll go with Tottenham 2-0.
I'm going to say Tottenham 3-0. I don't think Burnley can really do much against that back three.
Villa, Palace, at Villa Park. Palace, let's keep it rolling, baby. Let's keep it rolling. I want to see it get real hot to end the year.
Yeah. Get some guys in good form.
Villa, I like what McGinn's doing. Luis has had moments lately where he's looked pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Defense hasn't been too shabby, I guess, but not great. Attack is hit or miss. It's impossible to tell. I'm going to go Palace 2-1, but I don't feel great about it.
I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay. Leeds, Brighton, Elland Road. This feels like a must-win for Leeds, and Brighton are just clicking again out of nowhere.
Yeah, not the time you want to be playing Brighton.
Yeah.
And who would have thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, the way... I don't know, though. If Brighton are going to be aggressive, maybe it's just something they saw with United in terms of that pressing and being super aggressive, because if you do that to Leeds, they can pull you out. But same thing goes with Leeds. If they're super aggressive, then, Brighton will pull you out. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton.
Watford, Leicester at the Vic. This feels like a nice, fat, juicy 3-0 Leicester.
Yeah, normally I would say 0-0, but if Jamie Vardy plays, I think they'll win 2-0.
That's what I'm thinking. West Ham, City. City can't really afford for it to slip. I would say, West Ham, they might go for it, though. I mean, they don't have anything to lose, and they're a tough side at times. We'll see how much the attack carries over from that Norwich game. I doubt very much of it. But we'll go City 3-1.
I'll say City 2-0.
Wolves, Norwich. Wolves, you're on Norwich duty next episode. Sorry, Wolves fans. Sorry, Joe. I would hope Wolves could generate at least 2 goals against Norwich.
Yeah.
I would hope.
I would hope so.
You'd hope solo.
Hope solo.
Yeah, we're going to go 2-0 Wolves.
3-0 Wolves. Get my boy Chiquinho on the score sheet.
No, it's now we're lining up a Dean Smith special to pass Watford in the table. We're lining up for it. Everton, Brentford. Tough one for Everton to close out the year.
Yeah.
Good thing you got your wins when you did. Good thing Chelsea looks kindly upon you and gifts you wins.
Yeah, this game's kind of similar to Leeds versus Brighton. Everton's facing Brentford at kind of the worst time. Brighton and
but
Brentford
Brentford's facing Everton at the worst time. Unless you faced them early in the year.
Yeah, well, it's Everton.
At Goodison, so it'll be hopping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this will be a pretty entertaining match.
Newcastle, Arsenal, St. James Park.
And we're talking about tough matches. Away to Newcastle in a must-win. It's not where you want to be.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Not a walk in the park, as I say.
No.
Because you got Bruno G out there. You got Saint-Maximin on their way.
Hopefully they're still feeling dejected from getting beat down by City.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw on this.
I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal.
Scroll down. Please. Okay, so we're going to be potting next Friday again, it would appear, as we have midweek action. Southampton and Liverpool at St. Mary's.
Should be a fairly easy win for Liverpool, I would think.
I don't want to say it.
Given the way that Southampton is playing.
Really don't want to say it.
Oh, are you going to do it?
6-0.
Oh, 6-0. I thought you were going to say Southampton's going to win for
6-0.
6-0. Yeah, I'm going to go 4-0. Yeah, Southampton, sorry.
Everton, Palace, Goodison. They're saving the Keno, Goodison butthole clenching moments for the very end.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one. I think Everton I think they lose one of Palace, Brentford, and they draw the other. I went with the draw against Brentford earlier. I think I'm going to change it. I'm going to say Brentford beats Everton, and then I'm going to say that Everton draw with Palace.
I think Everton's going to get a squeaky 1-0 out of this one.
Wow.
Just due to the fact that
The
Palace
cherry on
isn't
top.
really playing for anything.
Villa, Burnley, Birmingham Park, the blue and claret teams are two of the three duking it out.
For the Claret and Blue
Carby. The Carby.
The Claret and Blue Cup.
Yeah,
I think Burnley exhausted their run of form.
Isn't it crazy this game just happened?
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Normally it's not like that close, but
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Makeup games.
yeah, I wonder if there'd be any changes. I'd give an edge to Burnley in the sense that they saw what Villa were doing, maybe kind of balance that out, and then Burnley can hit them with some new stuff. I'm going to go with a draw. We'll go 1-1.
I'm going to say 2-0 Villa.
Chelsea, Leicester, Stamford Bridge. Leicester, I don't know if they could have any squad rotation or anything. They could probably get away with not playing Vardy against Watford and then play Vardy for this one if they cared about results, but I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea.
And that'll do it. What do we have for a prediction, Sam?
Prediction. We're going to have Chiquinho is going to score a brace against Norwich.
Yes!
Let's go.
Come on.
Chiquinho's on me. Chiquinho's on me. Chiquinho's on me.
Chiquinho! Chiquinho! Chiquinho!